What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Thursday's 5-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. You didn't throw up the 5. That makes me sad. I don't know. Oh, that's crazy. I have a wedding ring on. Look at that. I mean, people are so sick of me talking about that. So let's talk about something else like NBA DFS, which is kind of the Wild West here tonight. We had Kevin Porter Jr., we had Christian Wood. Both of them go down with injuries at the very end of the first half. It was Jae'Sean Tate night. Ryan, how much Jae'Sean Tate did you have?
Well, clearly the right answer is not enough. I mean, he put up a 70-plus fantasy point performance. Unfortunately, I had a lot of KPJ, a lot of Christian Wood, a lot of Kyle Lowry, a lot of Deadman. It was the only thing that really worked out. But unfortunately, Valanciunas, another high-owned player that I had, didn't work out. It's just one of those nights where a lot of your conviction plays just decided not to be so elite. Plays like Jae'Sean Tate, Dwayne Dedmon, and Giannis and LaMelo really rode lineups to the top. We'll see in the late night hammer. It's a true late night hammer with the Kings and the Clippers. Lots and lots of ownership dedicated to this game. We'll see if there's a lineup that cracks through to the top, but unlikely. But you know what? We move on to tomorrow's 5-game slate.
Well, we don't move on yet because I might have something going on FanDuel. So I ended up taking down second in the night slate there. What was it, on Sunday? That was a nice day. Those were fun times. Thank you so much. I had some really nice messages to people, even on the Slate Starter from our community. But I will say, I got something on FanDuel going. If I can get Davion Mitchell, and I know this is asking for a lot, I need like 40 out of the dude. He's never put up 40 before, but hey, why not tonight? Let it be tonight. That game just got going. He's got 7.4 right now. That's nice. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. That's when we're getting to you guys. But of course, this is the Slate Starter podcast for Thursday. So let's get to it. We've got you, everybody, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when this and all the other content here at Awesemo is going live. I'm excited for this slate. I know it's an NFL slate. It's going closer to 4:30 out here on the West Coast, 7:30 for the Eastern time people. So it's going to be a slate that's closer to the NFL lock. Maybe people aren't paying as much attention. So just want to throw that out there. Maybe we can get some late news. But Ryan, we're going to cover all three sides. You ready to get going, my dude?
Let's ride.
Let's do it. So, of course, this is kind of a progressive start that we have for this. A lot of slates we've had recently, there's been like a cluster of games and then an island game. That's kind of what we've had here tonight with the Sacramento and Clippers late night hammer, where it's 2.5 hours after every game. Tonight, we're starting here at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, Chicago and New York, Milwaukee, Toronto. Then you've got a game half an hour later, then a game an hour later after that, then a game hour later after that. So anything that happens later in the night, we're going to have some late swappability here. And Devin Booker's already been ruled out there. So Phoenix having some of that swappability there. Damian Lillard probably going to be a guy who's going to be out as well. They said he's going to be out at least 10 days. We have tons of news to react to, but on the top end of guard, because we're going to cover it that way. DeJounte Murray, your highest guard on DraftKings. What a world we live in. 9,800 for him. Fred VanVleet, 8,900. Zach LaVine, 8,800. Chris Paul going to be insanely popular without Devin Booker, 8,600 for him, as will CJ McCollum, 8,500. Talk to me about the top end of guard because it looks like it's going to be a Chris Paul, CJ McCollum fest.
Yeah, and it's tough not to love those guys up at the guard spot. I mean, a lot of those guys you can just fit right in. But it's sticker shock seeing DeJounte Murray all the way at $9,800. He's going to maybe get that 5-figure price tag. We'll see how things pan out with him for the rest of the next few games, and he might just get there. He's been really impressive this year. Chris Paul, 8,600, taking on a piss-poor Detroit team. You're going to love it. How can you not? You're saving $1,200 off DeJounte Murray in the point guard only position. Tons of interest there. Spending a little bit down guys who have guard eligibility. Zach LaVine has now shooting guard small forward eligibility, $8,800. Against the Knicks, it's the bull situation. Trying to kind of pick your poison on which guy goes off. In this situation, I don't know how I feel about LaVine. Not that really interested. I'd rather save $300 and go to McCollum. A lot more confidence in what McCollum is going to bring to the table without Damian Lillard. $8,500. I think McCollum is in a pretty solid spot. There's going to be games where he puts up 50-plus fantasy points without Lillard. It's just going to happen. McCollum has shown this time and time again. Without Lillard on the court, McCollum's a pretty elite offensive player himself. I think SGA went bonkers today. Not bonkers. I think he just shy of 50 fantasy points.
Just shy.
Yeah, which is really impressive. And back-to-back versus Memphis. I think I'll be willing to shy off a little bit. I think on a back-to-back, there's going to be a lot of ownership going to him at $8,100. A lot of recency bias, but it's a good price tag. Keep that in mind. And then you guys got Lonzo and Cade Cunningham. I think I prefer going to Lonzo than Cade, saving $700 there. Both have, Lonzo only has point guard. Cade has point guard, shooting guard eligibility. And then there's a string of 7K players who have guard eligibility. Not that I'm really interested in anyone that sticks out to me at this moment. I'm going to be shying off Alec Burks, who cost me lots and lots of dollars as I just missed out. I had the best lineup on FanDuel that didn't have Alec Burks, which came third, which was really disappointing.
But hey, great night by you, Ryan. Again, here's the thing. Ryan is top 10 in the world at what he does. It's really hard to be top 10 at anything in the world, whether that's playing trumpet, whether that's, hauling out garbage, whether that's, any respectable profession whatsoever. Top 10 in the world, dude. You got third. We never celebrate anything that you do. We always celebrate when I do something where it's like, oh my God, Eric won $4,000 or $10,000 or whatever the heck. You do it on the nightly. And I just want to give you a shout out because I think you're a little bit underappreciated in that regard. Continue.
Yeah, so that was disappointing. It would have been really nice to take something down like that. But you know what? We move on to tomorrow. Other guys, without Devin Booker, I think Mikal Bridges, shooting guard, small forward eligibility, $5,700. I think it's a sneaky, pretty solid play. I'd be looking forward to rostering him at that price tag for sure.
Absolutely. Let's jump over to FanDuel. Again, we're going to cruise tonight. I have a feeling
I do think we forgot probably the most popular.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, there's the duo of Phoenix guards in Landry Shamet and Cameron Payne, $3,100 and $4,100, and Anthony Simons, $4,900. These three guys are just gonna soak up a ton of ownership, and rightfully so. They are projected to be excellent value plays on a 5-game slate to jam in some pretty high price studs.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit because I think Cameron Payne is a guy, $4,700 now over on FanDuel, that has gotten priced up, and Anthony Simons, $5,200. They tried their best. They really did, Ryan. FanDuel tried to say, you know what? We're going to make you guys pay for these guys. I don't care. I think you want to play a bunch of both of them anyway. It's not a high enough tag for them at the point guard and shooting guard position. So I'm looking at both of them. DeJounte Murray, $9,800. Same tag as what he had over on DK. Generally, when you jump over to FanDuel and they keep the same tag, they're an even better play over there. So I expect him to garner quite a bit of attention there. You have John Morant, Damian Lillard out. So Chris Paul, $8,400, the next guy. I mean, so much of the position is going to be Chris Paul, $8,400. And then, of course, Anthony Simons sitting there at $5,200 over on FanDuel. Then you have Cameron Payne, $4,700. I mean, it's pretty clear cut where the chalk is going to be. Is there anybody that you're like, yes, this is the tournament pivot we need to be looking at? Because I see a $7,200 Derek White, and I'm pretty excited about getting to him at I'm assuming sub 10%. I don't have the projections, neither do you, but we'll be able to look at them tomorrow morning. Derek White, that looks like an overpay. Might be something to get to where he's $300 more than Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, and I think the guard position has, a lot of guys at point guard, shooting guard eligibility over there on FanDuel. Picking through some guys who stand out at their respective value. The Memphis guys for sure. Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, $4,600, $5,800. I think they're fine. Solid plays. Even Desmond Bane, all those guys stick out pretty good. Landry Shamet down at $3,800. Very scoring dependent. So keep an eye on that situation. Not something that I'm excited to do on FanDuel really. Where you get the 3-point bonus on DraftKings, all about it. But other guys, Chris Paul's a tough fade at $8,400. He's just too cheap. He should be a mid-nines, close to 10K guy without Devin Booker on this Phoenix team. That's how good Chris Paul is. And it's a matchup versus Detroit. We might only get 3/4 of Chris Paul. That's how good this Phoenix team is. Other guys who stick out at their price tag, I think you can take your chances on Levine here, sub 8K, even Lonzo Ball sub 7K. These guys are priced very favorably. In a matchup versus the Knicks, in the same game in this for this Knicks matchup, I like Emmanuel quickly, $4,100. I think someone he showed Thibodeau's trusting him. Obviously, with Kemba Walker out of the rotation, one of these guards every night is going to put on a strong showing. All three of them did the other night in Burks, Rose, and Quickly for their respective prices. I like going to Quickly for sure at $4,100.
Yeah, Kemba Walker. Just excited to watch him in another uniform. He's going to go to the Clippers, the Lakers. I don't know where he's going to go. He's going to go somewhere else, though. That's for sure. What are you looking for? There was something you were looking for in the world. I don't know.
Oh, no, I was coughing.
That's important. I want you to take care of yourself. Also, I want to wish everybody needs to just sit here and wish Ryan the best here tomorrow. You're the best son in the entire world. There's no question about it. I know that you have a big surgery coming up for your mom, and we don't want to talk about personal things too much here on this podcast, but if everybody could just hit that like button for us, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to get 5-star reviews and the like button. Just wishing the best. Hip surgery, correct, for your mother tomorrow?
Knee surgery.
Or knee surgery. So again, so happy for Mama Rayen Patnaik. That's fantastic. Looking
I appreciate
forward to that.
The well wishes. I will pass them along to her early in the morning before she
Again, these are good things to do here, Ryan. I know that Ryan's very shy about such things. I think it's important to be able to express your gratitude to somebody who's done a lot for me personally, hopefully for you as listeners of the Slate Starter podcast. But yes, all the best to Mama Rayen Patnaik. That's going to be important. Also important, top end a card on Yahoo. Is that a bad transition? That seems like a really poor transition. DeJounte Murray's $44 there. Zach LaVine's $35. But again, Chris Paul, $35, going to garner a ton of attention. Fred VanVleet, I don't know what that ownership's going to be. I've kind of saved him for FanDuel here because he's $33, the same tag as CJ McCollum. I got to be expecting CJ McCollum to get much more attention than VanVleet. Maybe that makes it interesting in tournaments. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander also sitting there at $32. Of course, VanVleet and CJ McCollum, different positions, point guard and shooting guard, but at the guard position, same exact number there. Drew Holiday, somebody that you've tried to make a thing a couple times here at $28. He's been okay here and there. Tonight, 34.3 Yahoo points. I played him in one of the lineups there. Cade Cunningham, $26. What's really sticking out to you over in Yahoo at guard?
Yeah, the Yahoo guard position, there are a ton of those options are rock solid. A lot of guys you can even spend down on. Similar guys that we've touched on other sites that have point guard, shooting guard, and guard eligibility. Guys like Quickly, Tyus Jones, Anthony Simons, Dennis Smith Jr. even. I know he got some run in the blowout run. Svi Mikhailuk, I know he burned a lot of people last time out, but those are some spend down options. D'Anthony Melton sticks out to me potentially as well. It's a guy who can rack up some steals. Other guys, I mean, Lou Dort put on a show today. I forgot what he ended up with, but he had a strong first half. But it's the opportunity cost of missing out on CJ McCollum is what I'm looking at. That's going to be very difficult to ignore, and Chris Paul. But look, there's some you can roster three. You can roster 2 point guards with that guard eligibility, so it's easy to fit in that value that I touched on earlier.
All righty, let's head to the forward position. I'm going to do this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this first. Boom! Yahoo! New Yahoo users. Look at that. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum with your first time deposit. That's $10 or more. All you do is head to Yahoo, deposit $10 or more, and then play in any paid contest, whether that's the quarter, whether that's the dollar, whether that's the NFL overlay. They generally have a $20 with overlay. They have it again this Sunday. It's insane. It's $1 million contest with $200K of overlay going towards the NFL product there. It is an incredible tournament for $20. I recommend jumping in that one because it's the best in the industry for NFL, bar none. Check it out. But when you do that, you'll get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum completely free alongside it. That's every sport we will offer behind the paywall, not just NBA that we cover here, but NFL, MMA, NHL. Check it out. Promise you won't be disappointed. Stop guessing, start winning. Check out Awesemo Plus today with this incredible offer. Thank you so much to Yahoo for being the sponsor of the Slate Starter, but more specifically for this Yahoo offer that is incredible for the player. Look at that. How are we doing? Davion Mitchell, what's he at?
I did not check. I was not looking at Davion Mitchell, but
that's all I care about. Legitimately, all I care about is Davion Mitchell, except for in Showdown because I have none of him. That's pretty ironic, isn't it? It's like hedging your bet a little bit, but whatever. We're at the forward position. Guess what?
He's a third of his way there.
What's he at?
A third of a way to what you requested for.
40, so he's at 13?
Yeah, he's at 13 and a half.
Oh my God. I love this sport. I love NBA DFS. All you have to do is ask and you shall receive. We all want that. Giannis Antetokounmpo is $12K on a back-to-back here. He ended up going for 60 plus in this back and forth battle with LaMelo Ball. But I mean, Giannis hit a buzzer beater here tonight, correct?
I did not catch I think that was right before I came down to record. So
I was talking to Greg Ehrenberg about things in
oh
the world. So we were chatting about it. He's like, oh, Giannis hit a buzzer beater. I was like, oh, well, I just missed that because I was watching the crappy Celtics Sixers game on NBA TV right behind me here. God, what a mistake that was. Whatever. It wasn't that good. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 12K over there at forward on DK. Julius Randle, 9,500. DeMar DeRozan, all the way up to 9K, the mid-range assassin. Mid-range assassin. Did you know he's only had one game where he's hit a three-pointer in the last 5? That's because he lives in the mid-range and still scores 20 plus. It seems like every single night, but 9K on this slate going to be tough. Scotty Barnes is sitting up there now, 7,500, small forward, power forward eligibility. I have some interest. OG Anunoby won't play on Thursday here again. Gary Trent going to be the guy that we have to wait on news again. Svi Mikhailiuk, the most disappointing human being ever, and we'll talk about him next year. But Scotty Barnes, 7,500. Do you still have interest at that inflated tag?
it's up, and I'd be willing to go elsewhere just because of recency bias. But if you land on him as the last guy, and I can't really fault you, $7,500 is a lot. I think I'd rather save a little bit and go to Jeremy Grant, power forward only eligible. Chris Middleton with an asterisk. This Milwaukee team is on a back-to-back. Potential Giannis rest situation. Maybe I'm looking too much into a crystal ball. We might get a Chris Middleton show at $7,200. That's a possibility. Julius Randle, 9,500. Yeah, he's been playing pretty solid. He came back around the last game against the Nets. But I like Jaren Jackson Jr., $7,100. He's showing why he was such a promising pick. You know why he's been playing well? He's been keeping his hands to himself and staying out of foul trouble.
I thought you were going to let me answer. I was going to say he's just stopped hacking everybody the second he walks on the floor.
And if anyone in OKC puts Jaren Jackson in foul trouble, that's it. It's a wrap. This guy needs to get demoted to the G League. I wouldn't be able to deal with that if that's going to happen tomorrow. But it's a solid price tag for him. I think he'll be very popular because of power forward center eligibility as well. All the way down to the forward spot. I mean, Landry Shamet again has a small forward eligibility. He's going to be very, very popular. So proceed with caution, I guess, with Landry Shamet. It's a matchup versus Detroit. So many boxes are checked for him on DraftKings. 3-point bonus, matchup, price. It's just like he's got these 4 boxes checked. I mean, he makes for a strong play at that point. So any other plays that you like that you're looking to get aggressively over the field on?
So a guy that I didn't play at all, and I mean at all the other night when he was like 25%, was Larry Nance Jr. He's 3,800. People just got burned. I'm not sure what that ownership's going to look like, but Nasir Little's continuing to be out. I need Norman Powell to be out as well. It sounds like he's closer to doubtful, but it's a bruised quad. I have no idea how to analyze such things. Let's assume that Norman Powell's out. Would you have some interest in going to a 3,800 Larry Nance if the ownership is low?
Yeah, I do think the ownership will just organically be low. That's why on a 5-game slate, he'll be pretty strong tournament option, I think, based on the scenarios that you drew up. But the thing is, we're going to miss out on a $3,100 Landry Shamet.
We're not going to do that. We could play him at power forward.
Yeah, I think that could work out as well. But the cost of missing on a Triple J or Giannis, that's where it gets a little tricky. But look, Larry Nance Jr. has upside for sure. And there are a lot of ways where he can get on the court. It can result in him playing small ball 5 if Nurkic gets in foul trouble. But Cody Zeller's been manning those minutes. So there's some pathways that restrict him to really pay it off. But the scenarios that you drew up, he could really be a solid value option as well.
Yeah, I could not have possibly hated that play more at 25% the other day. Now I could not possibly love it more if he's going to be around 5, even 10%. I would probably be over the field on that number. So be aware. I like players relative to the way other people like players. That's just kind of how DFS works at times. And I think Larry Nance, a guy who has put up almost 40-point upside there in 25 minutes, looking through the box score here, I think he's somebody that low owned, sub 4K, finding ways to get different. That might be a guy who just burned the universe. Go to him. Let's jump over to FanDuel here. Looking at the small forward and power forward position, Giannis Antetokounmpo is 11K. I'd probably play him. DeMar DeRozan's 8,400. Way more advantageous to play over at FanDuel. Most players are. Again, Giannis is 11K. That's too cheap for Giannis here with the amount of not just ceiling, but floor he has with as many scrubs as we'll be able to fill in here. Julius Randle, 8,500 there at the power forward position. Pascal Siakam at 8K. Somebody that, depending on some injury news here, obviously we already got OG out, but if you get Gary Trent out, that's another plus for him there. 8K, too low. He hasn't necessarily gone nuts in the last two that they've been out here. 44.7 was serviceable in 30 minutes against Memphis, but I expect more. Jaren Jackson, though, 6,900. Just circle the wagons, roster him a bunch. Talk to me about forward over on FanDuel.
Yeah, the forward position on FanDuel, there's a lot of guys that just stick out, and you touched on a lot of good options for sure. Other guys that you think you should be taking your chances on, guys who have small forward, power forward eligibility. I mean, you know what you're getting with Giannis, Triple J. All these guys are pretty solid tournament winning upside guys. I mean, if you want to play Siakam at 8K, I think he'll be low owned out of that bunch, but you're going to miss out on strong value plays of Memphis with no John Morant. I just think Memphis is still a little too underpriced over there on FanDuel. Guys like Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., those guys have a small forward, power forward eligibility, and they're just priced very appropriately where it makes a lot of sense. The guy I won't be touching is Alec Burks at 7K. That's very expensive for Alec Burks, and I'm usually a sucker to play him, but 7K is a lot for a guy like him who's very, very scoring dependent. But he picked up some steals. That was pretty in a matchup versus the Nets. I just think he might have some ownership where I just wouldn't be about it. Other guys at their price tag that I think we should be looking at. The Phoenix situation, I think Cam Johnson might get sprinkled on a few minutes. We saw some small ball 5 Cam Johnson, but I think that was just the matchup against the Warriors. Just they want to be the ability to just hold their own and not have to switch as much. But I don't think that situation is going to happen versus Detroit. So Cam Johnson sticks out. And Sadiq Bey, $5,100. I think he's a strong tournament option, a guy who can get hot from the outside. If the game stays close, he will earn his minutes, low 30s at the minimum. So $5,100, Sadiq Bey, someone we can go to, small forward only as well.
Davion Mitchell has 13 real points and 2 rebounds. Let's go. I'm getting excited. This is really fun for me. Did you say what?
You should be excited.
I am pretty excited about that. You know what? Late swap. It's almost like it's important, Ryan. It's almost like something we should talk about from time to time. The guy's 1% as opposed to all the other dudes. Eric Bledsoe, who's playing really well, actually, and Reggie Jackson so far here in the first half. Just getting to Davion Mitchell and finding pivots elsewhere on other roster spots. Going pretty well here at the moment. We'll see how it ends up panning out, but Chimezie Metu, my God, such a good play today. No way around it. All right. That's kind of all we have for the forward spot over on FanDuel, but let's round it out here on Yahoo, our sponsor site. Again, thank you so much to them for their sponsorship. A lot of fun. Why is Dylan Brooks $23, though? I think that's kind of what I want to begin and end it with, but I guess I should expand. Giannis Antetokounmpo, $58. DeMar DeRozan, pass at $38. Julius Randle, $35. Jaren Jackson Jr., $27. Sign me up for that. Scotty Barnes, $27. Probably cool with, but Dylan Brooks, $23. How do we possibly get away from this dude who has crazy usage, crazy involvement with John Morant out?
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I have no issues of you going there. But another guy who's, if the game stays close, I like spending all the way down to Robert Covington. Very preferable scoring for him. Power forward eligible over there on Yahoo. I think a guy who I think can really pay off that price tag pretty easily. It won't take much for him to do so. Other guys in that similar price range, Sadiq Bey, I think we can go there as well. And you touched on Larry Nance earlier. I think he's kind of already in play with that price tag of his over there. Power forward only, Jaren Jackson Jr. I think someone I think we should definitely be considering as an option as well. And if you want to spend up for Giannis, there might be enough value to do so just because of the guards, the mispricing out over here on Yahoo. And if Giannis were to play, makes for a pretty exciting play over there on Yahoo where his ownership, I think, might be still decently high. I'm not sure. It's tough to gauge at this very moment based on the lack of news and where the ownership is going to go to. But, I mean, yeah, it's always a solid play. He showed today exactly why. But, yeah, it's just there's some solid value options that you can take advantage of, even in this forward spot as well. But really no opportunity cost here besides Giannis. And maybe if you want to talk yourself, if Julius Randle's a must-have play, maybe, but it's a spot where I would rather want to spend down.
All right, that's the forward spot. We are making unbelievable time tonight. 25 minutes here through the first, through guard, forward, and now we are heading to center to round this puppy out. This is going to probably be one of the quickest slate starters we've ever had. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, De'Aaron Fox has 5 steals and a block. There's 4:40 left in the second quarter. That's absurd. For FanDuel scoring, that's going to be absolutely madness. Let's round this puppy out. Center. We got Nikola Vucevic over on DK, your highest priced sole center there at 9,300. That's a big tag to be paying for a guy. Yeah, he went for 62.5. I love how I've been playing him like all the time except for against Charlotte there. And then he goes for a ceiling game, 6 for 6 from 3, though. I don't necessarily expect that going forward, but nice to see some signs of the old Nikola Vucevic, even in the Chicago team that has a plethora of offensive options here. Up against the Knicks, probably going to go elsewhere. Pascal Siakam, center only now for Toronto, 8,700 over there. DeAndre Ayton, 7,600. I talked about him, 47.75 there up against Golden State in that win. Yeah, it's weird to say that I like him a little bit more with Devin Booker off the floor, but there are more shot attempts that are going to be up for grabs for everybody. And Ayton, I just like as a basketball player. Detroit, they generally have smaller centers there. Obviously, Isaiah Stewart, the guy who's in that starting lineup. Jeremy Grant plays some small ball 5. I think Ayton has some massive upside at 7,600. And then Nurkic, now up to 7K there. You have no Dame Lillard. They gave him a price inflation, but I still think he's going to project out well. I like him. I like Ayton. I like a lot of centers. Talk to me about the position on DK.
Yeah, position on DK, a lot of solid centers. We touched on Triple J earlier. Jakob Poeltl, $6,100, I think is someone you can consider. In that same game, Yusuf Nurkic, $7,000. I think Noah Lillard, I really like going there. DeAndre Ayton, center seems like a spot to take advantage of lead usage guys tomorrow. So it's tough for me to really ignore those guys I mentioned. I think Precious Achiuwa might be popular again. I keep in mind he just didn't play that many minutes. I think he got benched, and it's been that kind of season for Precious Achiuwa. Nick Nurse will ride him, and then he'll just pull the trigger and not play him. So it's really it on the center spot. I mean, Giannis has center eligibility, but no one really else that sticks out to me.
Yeah, not for me either. It's weird. I mean, you talked about Jakob Poeltl, right? Did you talk about Jakob Poeltl? That's your boy.
Yeah, I did.
I know you did. I'm just saying, 6,100. Just wanted to double check. Again, I'm just on Davion Mitchell watch. He's not even in the game. It sucks. Everything sucks. All right, we're heading over to FanDuel here. Again, is there anything better than sweating your lineups when you're actually doing well at a point when you thought you were doing terrible? Like, I thought my lineups were going to be garbage after the early slate of games.
Oh, that's a great feeling.
Anything else to add to that?
Now I'm just losing my voice as I say this.
But should we whisper the rest of the segment? I'd be okay with that. It could be some ASMR for everybody listening on podcasts. No? Okay. You just muted because you were coughing. Again, that was very polite of you. Let's round this out. Nikola Vucevic over on FanDuel, 8,800. DeAndre Ayton, 7,800. Yusuf Nurkic, 6,700. Jakob Poeltl, 6K. We have a lot of power forward / center eligible guys in the middle of it. Julius Randle, Jaren Jackson Jr., Bobby Portis. Again, center, it's not my favorite position in the entire world. I guess over on DK, one thing I should have touched on is Steven Adams, 4,300. He played 26 minutes. That's literally what I had projected for in a close game last time out. I think he probably is going to be around the same thing. I'd be okay over on DK. 5,500 on FanDuel. Probably don't want to be going nuts with that whatsoever. But somebody that is like my last center down, I don't see anybody under 5K other than Precious Achiuwa. This guy plays 36 minutes, 29 minutes. Now he's down to 4,600. I suppose he's my last guy I'd consider. Talk to me about center on FanDuel.
There aren't that many guys who have center eligibility that I'm all about here. I mean, there's not that many to begin with, but it's going to be mixed and matching guys like Julius Randle, Triple J. Yusuf Nurkic is going to be very, very popular. Love the DeAndre Ayton pay up as well. Jakob Poeltl is not as exciting here as he was on DK, but
agreed.
At 6K, I think there's just not many there there's not just that many center options. So he makes for a pretty solid option with a pretty solid upside. So it would be tough for me to even go to Precious Achiuwa just because I just feel a lot more confident in guys like Nurkic and Ayton and Julius Randle.
I think that's all fair. Let's round this puppy out. Center at Yahoo. I've also said puppy 14 times. Add that to the list. What did I say on Live Before Lock today that you ended up just deciding to go into YouTube chat and say, oh, it's my dude? Yes, I say my dude a lot, Ryan. I am so sorry that that's so infuriating to you.
So, so out of all the words in the English dictionary, I think the word dude is one that just like I just don't understand, and I'm not about it. And only happens that my co-host it's his like top 2 favorite word.
We've never had this conversation. We've been doing this for almost a year, and this is the first time I've ever heard that you don't like the word dude.
Yeah, I mean, it only took 250 plus shows.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm a terrible person. Why wouldn't you tell me that? Also, I mean, there's another story that we'll have about Ryan's last name that we'll have a conversation about another day. I don't know if I can make fun of myself even more at the tail end of a podcast, but I promise it's a good story coming up soon here. But let's round this out at Yahoo. Ryan's got to get to bed. It's freaking what? 11:28 there on the East Coast. You need to get to sleep. Nikola Vucevic, $34. He's your most expensive center. That's probably too cheap for him and his upside, but not a cash game kind of play over there whatsoever. But for tournaments, for sure, upside. Pascal Siakam, 32. DeAndre Ayton, 28. Yusuf Nurkic, 27. Jakob Poeltl, 22. There's some really intriguing center options here on Yahoo.
Yeah, the mixing and matching of guys like Nurkic, Ayton, Jakob Poeltl, because you can roster 2 in both center and utility. It's just going to be like a lot of my lineups tomorrow on Yahoo, and how can it not be? I mean, these guys are in ideal situations, especially Nurkic and Ayton. Keep in mind, no Lillard and no Booker. These guys are top. I don't know off the top of my head in what usage they have in the NBA, but they're up there, and these guys are going to be depending on filling up that usage hole. And I think they're in very good spots to do that. And I think they're priority plays for me over there on our sponsor Yahoo. No questions asked. But other guys, if you want to pivot off of, I mean, it's tough to really spend down. I mean, Isaiah Stewart, maybe at that price tag, you can take your chances there. Honestly, just missing out on those rock solid plays. I don't know why you wouldn't want to like prioritize Nurkic and Ayton over on Yahoo.
Right there with you. Right there with that. I mean, Ayton, I'm in love with tomorrow across every single site, across the entire industry. Yeah, again, it's weird to have Devin Booker out and have him be a beneficiary, but that's the way that DFS works. And that's the way basketball works. More shot attempts for everybody. Ryan, that was the most slick, concise, easy slate starter you and I have ever put together, probably in the history of the show. Any final words for the people?
Yeah, please leave some 5-star reviews. Those have been very helpful for the ones who've dropped them in already. We'd love to get some more. But good luck tomorrow. Tons of content with NFL on the site. Make sure to take advantage of that. But more importantly, good luck. And hopefully you guys find yourself up top.
He's Ryan. Well wishes to his mother. I'm Eric. My mom, she's lovely. I love her very much. Love you, Mom. Bye.